No,
Uh,
so I mean, the thing I guess I've been monitoring all day between watching old Law and Order episodes was the impeachment shit. I mean, looks like it's moving forward. They weren't really wasting much time. They're gonna vote on this bad boy tomorrow.
yeah, good luck with that.
Well, they're let's see the impeachment. There you go. Yeah. Let's see. So the impeachment is going to be directly with the incitement of insurrection. That's what they're going for is the article of impeachment. And there's a few resolutions on the floor. Actually, I kept trying to find this one, like the main one that I would want to go ahead, that I think is the most viable, and you think is the most, sets the worst precedent. The first one is, of course, they did a resolution to call for Mike Pence to take over with the 25th Amendment. Try that route. See if Pence gets a majority of the cabinet, overturn, basically do an inner administration mutiny over Trump, which, he doesn't seem too open to doing. Then the next one is was it what are they censuring and
Censure.
yeah, censure and removal, expulsion of various Congress people and senators to um throw them out on their asses and remove them from office for inciting insurrection. That would include people like Matt Gaetz, Kevin McCarthy, Ted Cruz, Josh Hawley would all be on this hit list if they go ahead and pass that. And then the next one is the one that I think is the best one is the 14th Amendment option. The 14th Amendment option, which um, it, we were discussing before the show a little bit, but let me just go ahead and pull up the 14th Amendment here on our handy Google search. Get you back up on there too, Matt. There we go. So here we
Just
go.
saying that, like,
This is the
you're just simping
section.
for Kyle.
Well, I thought it was. Come on, bro. You know I have my
Kyle
disagreements
simp.
with Kyle. Not like I just go along to get along, but here he's talking about Section 3 of the 14th Amendment. Um, so what this was enacted after the Civil War. The Second Amendment that was enacted post Civil War, and it restricts. So I'll just read it. No person shall be senator, representative in Congress, or elector, or president or vice president, or hold any office, civil or military, under the United States or in any under any state who, having previously taken an oath as member of Congress or as an officer of the United States or as a member of any state legislature or any executive or judicial officer of any state to support the Constitution of the United States, shall have engaged in insurrection or rebellion against the same, or given aid or comfort to the enemies thereof. But Congress may vote by a vote of 2/3 of each house, remove such a disability. So there we go. Um, that's what we're talking about here. Let me see. When you get down to the Constitution and the amendments, it feels like we're about to pull out the receipts, like we're fucking with the operator's manual, and that's really what it is. It amounts to going into some constitutional remedies to figure out what exactly the fuck you're supposed to do when you have a fucking capital overrun and shit getting incited and all that kind of bullshit. Yeah, we're picking up the owner's manual of the country and cracking this bad boy open and trying to figure out what the fuck we do, what the occasion calls for. And the good thing is, if you go about that 14th Amendment route, the Democrats don't need Republican support. You need 16, 17 Republicans in order to go ahead and impeach this motherfucker. And you're not going to get that. I think it's a long shot at best to get that. Everything's just too hyper-partisan. Yeah, aid and comfort to the enemies thereof feels like it's hard to say that to reps and senators like Hawley and Cruz. Are still, yeah. I mean, that's the thing. If
Yeah,
you have,
dude.
if you have a, Trump out there saying, we love you, you're very special, folks. I mean, that's kind of comforting. I know if I was an insurrectionist participating in the Bay of Chuds, I would feel very comforted. Be like, oh, my president loves me.
He told them
Yeah.
to go do it. Like,
Hmm.
um,
He was mealy mouthed about it. I mean, he was sort of. He didn't tell everybody to bust into the Capitol. He told everybody to go to march all the way down. Yes, we are back. Simple majority
mhm.
is like a whole ball game in this. It's 2/3 of each of the house of each house of Congress. So that would mean 2/3 to overturn such a restriction. So they would vote by a simple majority to go ahead and enact this restriction on Trump or whoever else they could go ahead and attach to this. They would enact that, and then they could eventually overturn it if there was reason to do so. It's not. Yeah. It's not something that can be. It's something that can be voted against if they feel like it's unjust. Oh damn it! Hold up.
Yeah, sorry, we took last night off. Um,
Yeah, we've been
yeah,
going
man,
every day
I don't
since
know.
what, New Year's?
Hmm.
Yeah,
I mean, they need to. I mean, if they're gonna do that, like if they're going to do something like that, like something incredibly partisan and uh, you know, set that kind of precedent,
right.
then they need to do
It's gonna be
like
a lot
they need
worse.
to
We're
do
all feeding in a nitro bullshit.
something to disempower the Republicans,
Mm.
right? They need to do like
I
something to
like.
make
I mean,
sure
it's
they don't.
better for the Republicans at this point. I mean, look, they don't have to worry about running
What?
against them in a primary if they do this. They're like, oh, we can have one of us can be president. We can just have full reign of this shit. We don't got to be worrying about them coming through and knocking us all out and embarrassing us for running against them in the first place.
What do you mean?
If they go ahead and enact the 14th Amendment, then they don't have to worry about Trump in the primary anymore. Then it's open to any one of these fucks. I mean, why wouldn't they want to do that? It's better
Yeah,
for their own
I mean that's
political
what they
ambitions.
should do.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think they'd be smart to do it, but I don't think they will.
Mm-hmm.
I think they need to get. I think the problem is they would need to get most of them to do that, right? Like the same thing with impeachment. They would need
I
to
mean,
get
not to
a
pass it.
massive chunk of.
Not to actually pass it.
Hmm?
They can pass it without Republican support, right? So that's the whole point. But
Yeah,
it'll be hyper
but the
partisan, like
point
you're
is that
saying.
yeah, they either like if they're going to do that, then you need to follow it up with like voting rights restoration and some other shit to make sure the Republicans don't like you know have the opportunity to screw
To
them again,
what to
right? Like
like completely
they need to do
abuse
that. They
it
need to,
and use that to, because I mean, let's face it, if they get a
yeah,
majority
like
again,
Joe Biden didn't test.
I feel like
Yeah,
I lived
like
through
Joe
so
Biden
many
didn't pass
Dems
these
and
tax
disarray
cuts, so we're going to
combos.
vote to have him declared an enemy.
Well,
You know, um,
yeah, I mean, look, they would have to guard against the Republican backlash that would come when they would have the majority, because there's not enough. I mean, there's not enough people that would vote either side, I think, to get a 2/3 majority to reinstate someone's qualifications um to be able to hold office again. I mean, like, so. I mean, the other hand, on the other hand, I mean, you could say, if you get these lifelong Congress people, right, that, I mean, they're never out of office. It's not a thing that can remove people. So the 14th Amendment remedy isn't a method to remove somebody. It's not a substitute for impeachment. It's a method to prevent them from
yeah,
being able
no,
to run
they don't
again.
need to do that. Yeah, um, but still, they're not going to do it.
Mm.
They're not going to, even if the Republicans, all of them know it'd be better for their future,
Mm-hmm.
they still are not going to be the one to turn on him because that's where the base is.